return to play timeline?
Hopefully very close. I expect to be out there in training camp, load management, and hopefully in the next few weeks I get cleared. So that's the goal. And then just at that point it's just getting back in football shape and being able to go out there and play with the team. That's what's on my mind, to be honest.
For the start of training camp there?
I hope so, but
Yeah.
we'll find out when we go see Doc.
Is it hard to stay patient, and how difficult is that sort of uncertainty? Because you want to be out there.
I was talking to Ashawn yesterday, and he's like, you be good. I'm like, it's like you go to the playground, like you got the basketball when you're a little kid, and like they play with your ball, but then everybody else playing, you got to sit out and watch. I'm like, it sucks, but it's one of those things that it's just part of the process.
This was a pretty significant injury. Was there a part when you got back out on the field where you had to learn to trust your legs, trust your knees, trust yourself again?
No, when they took my crutch away from me, I did have to relearn that. 8-9 weeks of being on crutches, no weight bearing, and then trying to get on the treadmill and walk again. It felt funny, but huge strides from where we were then, and now back out in the field running around with everybody.
What's that like for you mentally as a guy that is incredible, like never had something to do with someone, like learning how to walk basically? And how difficult is that?
I think it was a mental game first. Once I was able to get back in the weight room and let myself know that I was strong enough to do it, like that has been the progression the whole time. Just be able to prove it mentally and then be able to do it physically.
This defensive line looks pretty different than the one you left last year. What has it been like having Ashawn around you more and having Turk out there too?
Good. I feel like right now in our room we got a bunch of selfless guys. So, when you play with selfless guys that just want to come out and work every single day, then that's where you build that brotherhood. That's where you come in here, and it doesn't have to be one guy's show or the next. But when we get to go out to the field and play, I think that's where you start to get there. There's no drop off in play.
Derrick, I know you're still kind of limited as you're getting back into action, because this week, how good has it felt to put the jersey back on and be back out on the field?
Good. Been doing a lot of rehab on the side. Been doing some walkthroughs and stuff. Nothing compares to being in team periods. So that sucks. But it's just I'm just glad to be out here, to be honest. I spent most of the fall in the training room not being able to be out here. So I'm grateful for it.
Derrick, what's it been like working with Bobby Brown, a guy who looked up to you kind of in college, wore your number and stuff like this? What's it been like working with him?
Bobby's funny. Bobby's really funny. Like I said, man, we got a bunch of selfless guys in there, and it's everybody, and it's funny because it's all the biggest dudes on the team, but also the most childish, got a joke group every day. Our meetings literally start off 5-10 minutes of just shooting the crap, and then our D-line coach, Todd, he's great. So when we get ready to go in the room, he already knows what type of room he's got. So
Do you get to get away, or are you kind of strung here because of having to come in for rehab?
I'm not tied here because of rehab, but I do feel like I owe it to my teammates to be out there when we get ready to take the field in September. So I'll be here.
Who's the funniest?
The funniest?
Yeah, you said y'all start every day with jokes.
I'm not gonna lie, Shy hands down.
Really?
Yeah, he be trying to act like he quiet in front of y'all. That is not him.
Is he intentionally funny or
Huh?
unintentionally?
Oh, he got jokes. He got jokes. It's intentional every time.
Is there a trip you're giving up to do this, or you still going to sneak away for a weekend or two?
No. I got my little girl's coming supposedly July 28th, so we kind of homebound right now anyway, so we'll be here.
Are you used to that brace?
Huh?
Are you used to that brace?
I wore one in college, so it's been a process, but it's just really just trying to keep the knee from going places it shouldn't. So hopefully I'll get a chance to play without it, but if I do, then I've already done it.
Last fall, being around like you were at kind of odd hours, and did it offer you an opportunity to kind of see big picture, like what Dave and Dan and Brent were kind of what they were trying to piece together?
Yeah, I think from even when I signed my contract last year to understand what was going forward, what was going to happen going forward, it was one of those things where I want to build something special, and I told him from the beginning I want to be a part of it for the long run. So, just to see the kind of the picture coming into play right now, it's one of those things that it just makes me even more excited to just get back to it.
Derrick, Dave told us that the interior defensive line is the strength of this team out here during this mini camp. You talked about kind of the fun dynamic in the room. What have you seen come together so far?
They compete. right? So like every single day, you come out here to compete. You know, whether it's Cam, the rookie, or it's Turk. I mean, it's guys that, you know, they want to play ball at a high level. You know, Cam, Jared, they're learning, but I mean, you got guys in the room that can teach them. So I mean, I think that's the biggest thing right now.
You mentioned the mental reps and the walkthroughs, being able to participate in that. How important is that with all the turnover on this team?
You know, always with the defense, you know, it's always moving parts. So even, you know, when Ian installs, to be able to come out here and walk through those things and just be able to get those physical reps, you know, it's super important to me. So, I mean, just being able to be back out there with the team, go through that, make the checks, you know, make my mistakes and do it, you know, during the walkthrough period. And then just, you know, I feel like when we get to camp, hopefully be able to, you know, jump in there immediately, but probably not. But it's going to be one of those things where, you know, I got to make mistakes before I get back to where I was.